Hello guys, and welcome to the Code Patch. My name is Nick and this is your first C++ programming tutorial. So our goal here is to get you guys into programming language C++ and programming itself. This will be a guide for all of you who wanna get into programming and want to learn how to program and want to start somewhere. Alright, so this series will be all about the basics of programming, and in the advanced series I will teach you the object-oriented programming, because C++ is an OOP language, or object-oriented programming language, which is the most used way to make programs. So let's get onto it. Alright, so the first things first, you will need an editor or an environment in which we'll be writing our code. Alright, so open your browser and type in CodeBlocks. Alright, so once CodeBlocks is a little program that supports C++ language. Alright, so once you open the site, you should see the downloads to your left. Alright, click on that and select the binary release. Alright, the first one, and here you want to select this one right here that says setup. Alright, so go to SourceForge and it should start the downloading right away. Alright, so it did. So once you download that, just install it. Alright, you just next and finish. And once you've done that, you should see this CodeBlocks icon on your desktop. Right, so I'll just pretend that you guys already downloaded it. Alright, so once you did that, just double click on the icon and it should open. Alright, wait a few seconds. Okay, so it's long as the first time. Alright, and once it opened, you should see this start here window. Alright, and alright, so let's get right on it. Go to this create a new project, and so this is how you open a new project. Right, and you want to choose the console application, so we're making console applications. Click on go and select the C++ language. Alright, and here you should find a file or make a file in which you will be saving all of the programs that we create. So just find a file, name it whatever you want, and click OK. And for the project title, alright, you want it to be whatever you want. Alright, so I'll just make program tutorial 1. Alright, so it doesn't matter really. So go next, and you want to make sure that you have this GNU GCC compiler selected. Alright, so just make sure it's selected and click on finish. And that's it. You should see these sources, and once you click on this little plus, double click on this main, and you're all set up, so you can start the program. Alright, so before I get onto the code, the actual code, I want to explain something to you guys first. Alright, so you see these three buttons up here. Right, it says build, run, and build and run. So we'll be using these a lot. So I just feel like I need to explain to you guys what this build means and run. Alright, so you must know what run. You probably know what run means. Alright, so let me just explain you this build option right here. So every program that we create needs a compiler. Alright, so let me show you what is a compiler actually. So let me just open Paint so I can draw you, so you can understand it better. Alright, so let's take this line right here that says something like cout. Alright, cout, and then some arrows like this and so on. Alright, so just some random line of code. Alright, and when our computer starts reading our code, it really doesn't know what this cout means, or any of these instructions. What do they mean? Alright, so this is the language for us humans to understand, and your computers understand only ones and zeros. Alright, so our computers work in bits or ones and zeros. So there is something called a machine code. So it looks something like this. Alright, so some random ones and zeros. Alright, so this is a machine code. And what our programs need is something called a compiler. So this is a compiler, and what a compiler does is basically takes this line of code and translates it into a machine code, so our computers can understand what we wanted with this line of code. So there is a little picture here. Let me just show it to you on Google. So you write compiler and go to images, and you should see this little picture here, which is basically what I just explained to you. Alright, so there is some code, for example in C programming language, and it goes through a compiler and it ends in the machine code. So you probably seen this exe before when you wanted to open a game or a program or whatever. So this is an exe file, and here is how it looks in the machine. Right, so this is a machine code. So that is why every time we run our program, if we first need to compile it. Alright, so when you click this build, it basically compiles this and turns it in the backscene. It turns it into a bunch of ones and zeros. Right, and then only then our computer can start executing our code. So that is why I felt like I need to explain that to you first, because it's very important to understand what this build and run does. So yeah, that's it. So that's it for this tutorial. In the next tutorial, I'll explain to you guys line by line all of this code and what it means, and we'll start slowly to get into programming. Alright, so thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope I'll see you in the next tutorial.